Thank you.
So
Appreciate it.
that
All
would be
right.
good.
I just broadcasted the message to the students. They're making their way here. They should be here by 1:55.
Oh, that's all right. Thank you
Hi,
again.
Antoine, how are you?
Oh, it's beautiful. Thank you. This is gorgeous. So I love doing this. So thank you for having the team to do this. So
Thank you for being here. Coach
Yeah.
Sid, Horres, thank you so much for being here. We love having you. It's been one of those days. We've been all over, but it's been good.
You're coming in for a smooth landing, right?
That's right. I knew it.
right.
That's why I wanted you guys on the closing keynote to give me some more energy so I can
Yeah.
keep pushing for the rest of the day.
Keep going. Might as well. Oh, might as well. Hey, Antoine, I'm going to send you a save the date for my birthday bash.
Oh, yeah. Do that.
Stratton, you have an invitation, but I changed the date from a Thursday to Friday.
Oh, yes, sir. I've got it.
No, but I changed the date. I'll send you a new save the date.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Excellent. Sid, you're not getting older, you're just getting better.
You know what? I agree. I'd rather get older and better. How about that?
Older
feel-
and
Yeah, older and better and feel younger.
let's just say wiser and better.
Wiser and better. You know, I'm here in Cabo and got spring break is going on in certain locations. So they look younger and younger, don't they?
No doubt about that.
Yeah, I definitely I don't want to get younger. That's for sure.
No, me either.
Yeah.
I'll leave it to them.
Yeah, we leave that to them, Antoine. Stay right where I am. Just feel good.
Exactly. Our future leaders they can have the fun now.
They can have whatever they call fun. Yes, they can have it. And I realized how much of fun I missed because a poor kid spring break meant nothing to you. I mean, spring break just meant you were on break. You know, you didn't go anywhere. You didn't do anything different. You just kind of stayed in the neighborhood and just played. Just extra days.
Maybe you could talk about that. I mean, I know it's time to start, but again, a lot of our young people here in DISD, sometimes they don't get that chance to have a life like that as well. And, you know, we want them to have a lot of opportunity and internships and stuff. So anyway, we'll get to that. Let me turn over to Mansa Ray because I know we're getting started soon. So, but we'll get to get some questions. We got 78. Love it. Counted.
Well, I just got some messages from some teachers. You know, we had asked them to be in a central location with the students that are participating in the expo. So Ms. Dax just sent a message and said they've decided to actually watch the closing session as a class. So she is streaming it in the library. So all of Skyline student, which is 80 plus, they're streaming from one account. So you have much more than the number of participants that you're seeing here.
Okay, shout out to Skyline.
Yeah,
All right.
Shout out Skyline. Thanks for being innovative. Love it. All right, we can go ahead and get started. Hello, everyone again. It's a pleasure having all of our NAF Academy juniors and teachers and leaders who have been helping all day with the expo, not only today, but really getting the students ready. Hopefully you've had a great time going from session to session, engaging at our college fair, working with the advisory board members who were the networking session, as well as the workshop that you attended. And hopefully you got all your 3 interviews in. I know some students are still interviewing because we've had some delays. So those will be joining us after we begin. With that, I want to introduce our wonderful Antoine Joyce, VP and City Leader at All-Star Project. He is the NAF Advisory Board Chair for South Oak Cliff High School. They have 2 academies, IT and engineering. So thank you, Antoine, for your service. We are so excited to have All-Stars Project teaming with us and Antoine and really securing our keynote speaker. And they are going to be here and have a treat for you during their presentation. With that, I'm going to hand it over to Antoine to introduce our speakers.
Manta Ray, thank you so much. And if we can lose the slide and maybe you can pin me, and I love seeing all the faces of our students. So one, congratulations to all of our NAF students on your internship expo. Shout out to Mr. Johnson, Mr. D. Johnson. He was the first one to get on and he said, I think I got the internship. So congratulations, sir. And we're all going to support you to have a successful summer. As Manta Ray said, my name is Antoine Joyce. And yes, I'm a vice president and city leader for a national nonprofit called the All-Stars Project of Dallas. And maybe you've seen a video prior to coming into this room, but if you haven't, when you leave today, I'm going to put it in the chat later. We have a link to a video we want to show you about the All-Stars Project and what we do in our programs and invite you to join our program. So I'll put that information in the chat, but a little bit about what we do. We help young people like yourselves develop. And when we talk about development, right, it's what we're doing today. It's seeing opportunity, like an internship, like building your career, graduating high school, maybe one day buying a house and a car, which I just did for the first time ever in my life. I'm 44 years old. Never thought that was possible, but development helped me do that. Seeing opportunity, but also having the tools to act on those opportunities. And we measure those tools through 8 dimensions: having confidence, being giving, having vocational competence, the things you're learning in NAF, resume writing, public speaking, dressing professionally, right? We do that in the All-Stars as well. Having an open worldview, being appreciative, having personal responsibility and improvisation. And that's how we build the programs, through wonderful programs from talent shows to leadership programs that introduce you to business leaders who help us bring confidence and giving and all of that to you. So we create partnerships with caring adults from all over the country. And I'm going to introduce 2 of them, 2 friends of mine who have the pleasure of working with and building the All-Stars around the country. The first one is a good friend. I met him now maybe over 6 years ago. He's the vice chair of my board at the All-Stars Project of Dallas. Wonderful supporter. He describes himself as a traveler, adventurer. He's a 40-year plus attorney for a large global firm called Wilson & Elser, litigated over thousands of cases. He defends over billions of dollars, billions with a B, for his clients. He's a sought-out national speaker and an author. I want to invite my friend Stratton Horres to join us. And want to say hello, Stratton. and before I turn it over, one of his good friends that he introduced us to, very excited because let me tell you how you know this man. So if you watch the documentary with Michael Jordan, right, called The Last Dance, there's a clip in there where Michael Jordan is just joined the league and Michael Jordan has to go against the greats of the NBA. And they show this picture and he goes, Michael Jordan against Sidney Moncrief. And you're like, and Sidney got him like this, like, where you going, Mike? And then most recently, if you watch this TV show on HBO Max called Winning Time about the LA Lakers, and in the first series, they talk about Irving Johnson and him being drafted to the NBA. And there's a scene where they go, we don't want Irvin, we want Sidney Moncrief. right? Now, Sidney went on to have a great career. He didn't go to the Lakers, but he got to the Milwaukee Bucks. He was in the NBA for over a decade. He's been a coach in college and in NBA. He's a Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Famer, a businessman, an author. He is the great Sidney Moncrief. And together, Sidney and Stratton has written a book called Grit, The Factor in Leadership, Lessons from the Trail. I'm turning it over to our guys. Give it up for Sidney and Horres.
Hey, hello. How's everyone doing? Wow, it is so exciting. Stratton, how are you feeling today?
Sidney, I couldn't be better. This is a great group, and I'm excited that we are here before them and can talk to them.
I am too. And you know what really caught my attention? I was talking to someone earlier, and they talked about networking, that they had these networking workshops. I just want to real quickly give the students one of my philosophies about how do you become a better leader, but how do you get ahead? How do you get these opportunities? And it does start with networking. We all know that. However, there are some other steps that you have to make sure you complete if you want sustainable relationships, sustainable success. And one is, once you network, you have to start building rapport with people. Building rapport with people that you don't really, they're not like you, they're different than you. Then when you build that rapport, you start building authentic relationships, right, Stratton? Not just relationships, authentic relationships with those people. Then after you build those relationships that are authentic, something special is going to happen, and it's called unselfish rewards. Those are rewards that not only benefit you, but benefit others. So I want us to remember, as you succeed in life, as you become a leader in life, you have to take people along with you, not just be selfish in your accomplishments. And Stratton, you've done that very well throughout your career.
Well, thank you, Coach. And that's, very motivational words for all these young folks soon to enter the world of the professionals and our world of working folks. One thing I want to just emphasize based upon what you said is, how can you succeed? One of the most important things that I think we can tell you is make an immediate impact in whatever opportunity you have. In other words, when you get to meet somebody in a networking situation, how do you conduct yourself? You want to impress them. We've all heard first impressions are everything. Well, I hate to tell you this, but it's true. First impressions are everything, and it may be the only impression you get to make. So when you meet somebody in a networking situation that you're introduced to that you want to learn more about, you want to emulate, you want to see what they do, what do? You look them in their eye, you firmly shake their hands, and you ask them how you're doing, and even more importantly, what you're doing. And are you excited about what you're doing? Get them to talk about themselves so they can open themselves up to you. And once they open up to you, you can open up to them, because they will want to know more about you too. So immediate impact is something that I think is so important. It served me very well. And that all comes from, and this is something you have to learn a little bit, is confidence. Because when you gain confidence in that kind of setting, it shows. People can tell it right away. And I know this is something that the All-Stars teaches all of their interns, and it's been so important and effective. So back to you, Coach, for the next bit of wisdom.
Well, the only thing I want to add to that is, here are things leadership is not. First of all, leadership is, I like the definition that I found, it's the actions of guiding, directing, inspiring a group of people, organization. I added inspiring. It was not in there. I agree. I believe it's inspiring. But the most important word is action. Here are things leaderships are not. And young people, understand this. Leadership is not a popularity contest. That does not make you a leader. It might make you a short-term leader, but in the long game, it won't last. Leadership it's not an event. It's not a workshop. It's not a decoration. It's not even a position. Leadership is a combination. I like this. I got this from Dr. Moncrief. Leadership is a combination of behaviors and characteristics. Behaviors and characteristics will determine how great of a leader that you are. So leadership is, I want you to check the box if you feel you're doing these things. Leadership is, number one, serving others. Are you serving others? That's a simple answer. It's a yes or no answer. Leadership is building authentic relationships, not Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter relationship, authentic relationships with others. Leadership is being kind and respectful. Leadership is assisting other people, not only yourself, in achieving goals. Leadership is building your knowledge base. We have a little shirt that we have an acronym that we use called GRIT in all our workshop, and GRIT is for growth, resilience, intentionality, and tenacity. So if you're going to be a leader, you must build your grit in those areas every day. Leadership is action, not just what? Words. You don't talk about it, be about it. I like the fact that it's actions that you carry on every day. It's consistent actions. It's not that you're respectful one day and you're disrespectful the next day. So those are just some overall leadership tips I want to leave everybody with. We really, Antoine's such a great host. If he can just ask us some questions, I think we can get some more information out of these old people on this Zoom line.
Definitely, definitely. Well, we are showing our age because we left out TikTok in those social media. You know, that's the big one.
That was, you know, I said grit is growth, resilience, intentionality. That was intentional.
Yes. So Stephen Brock from Carter High School said, "Is there a certain way a leader should dress?" It's a great question. Thank you,
That's a great question. Yeah, we get that. Like, I'll let Stratton start.
Yeah, I'll start with that. I think that's a great question because, again, this goes to first impressions. When you're in that setting and you're networking, you're meeting people, and you want to be dressed appropriately for the situation or the circumstances that you're in. And that doesn't mean that you have to wear a suit and tie to everything. In fact, quite the contrary. My first point on that would be aware of the setting that you are in. In other words, not just show up dressed in some way, try to find out what the appropriate dress code is for that event or that situation that you're going to. And people will tell you, we expect you to dress this way, business casual or suit and tie. They will tell you about the appropriate form of dress. My personal rule is it's always better to be overdressed than underdressed. Again, it's all about the first impressions. Now, for 40 plus years, up until the last two, actually, I wore a suit and tie almost every day. And I know that sounds terrible. I can't even believe it now after 2 years of the pandemic where we've been so much of a virtual situation. But I used to wear a suit and tie every day. And I felt when the pandemic hit and I wasn't wearing a suit every day to the office. In fact, I wasn't even going in almost every day to the office. I felt like I was not dressed appropriately. I was so used to it. But of course, in a legal setting, when you're a law firm, you go to the courthouses all day long, you got to wear a suit and tie. That they expect it. You don't want to show up in shorts and sandals. That would be a no-no. Judges would not pay attention and jurors would not appreciate it either. So you have to dress appropriately. In a business networking setting, again, find out what the appropriate dress is. Wear a sport coat, wear a tie, wear a slacks. For the guys, and for ladies, wear a nice suit or something. Doesn't have to be Sunday dress, but it has to be appropriate. You want to look sharp. You want to look nice. And you especially want to look nice in the setting that you are in, because that shows you're comfortable in that setting. And this goes to what also I want to point out is building confidence. Most importantly, whatever makes you feel the best about yourself and confident for that setting. Coach?
And Coach, I'm gonna add a little spin on that to go there. So you talked about earlier, and you could talk about this of yourself, right? You talked about you. So right now we're calling from. I'm in New York City. You're in Cabo. Stratton is in Dallas. And I live in Dallas. I'm just visiting New York. I'm originally from Brooklyn, and I grew up poor in Brooklyn. I grew up poor in Bed-Stuy. You was just saying before our students came on that spring break was just meant for you. You was on break because you was poor, right? You didn't go on vacation. So what is that like to not have a lot in your life and to want to be dressing, as Stratton is saying, confidently and making a first impression, but sometimes you don't feel confident in your life given your life circumstances. Can you talk about that?
I think exposure is one of the most underrated aspects of building young people and also adults. the more we expose people, the more knowledge they achieve, the more confident they feel. I didn't have that growing up. Like spring break was just a break. No vacations, no travel, just playing more outside or doing whatever we were doing. It was nothing special about spring break. Because of that, we didn't grow up around people that dressed a certain way for different occasions. Church was a special occasion. That was it. Work was work. And I like what Stratton said, because what we tell young people and adults is the appropriate. Number one, where was appropriate? Number two, call and find out. Don't guess about what you're going to wear at something very important. You need to call and find out. And that call could give you an opportunity to start building a relationship with that gatekeeper or a very critical person within the organization. So I think the lack of exposure for me, Antoine, did limit my ability to understand the value and the importance of dressing appropriately, because we're in a society now that people love to express themselves with what they have on their body and how they dress, and that's part of their brand. And that's another issue that we don't have time to get into branding. But
Right.
remember, what you wear, what you say is part of who you are and part of your brand.
Great. We got a lot of questions coming in too. So this is great. So one, you got a comment that from Shanann that says, action speaks louder than words. So thank you, Shanann, for that. Bryceon Garrett was agreeing with you, Stratton, on, feeling uncomfortable with dress and coming into the office. But I want to ask 4 questions in a row. And so I think they all related, and I'd love for you to answer them. So Stephan from Carter said, how do you fix mistakes as a leader? Sorry, I'm probably saying that wrong. Is there a certain way a leader should act? We have someone from South Oak Cliff, Elise. She said, in your opinion, do you need to be a certain age to be a leader, or do you need to have a certain level of wisdom? And the 4th one for now, from Carter, how does a leader stay a leader during hard times like we have now? That's from Jalen.
That's a great question. Great
They
question.
really are. I wish we had another hour.
Yeah, I do too. But I want to tackle the last question was what again, Antoine?
How do you stay a leader during hard times? And is there a
Okay.
certain level of wisdom? How should you act?
Yeah. I think, remember I said leadership is actions, right? It's behaviors. And the way you stay a leader for a longer period of time is you develop good habits and good routines while you're your age. You continue to build upon those. And once you develop those routines and good habits, and then wisdom kicks in, experiences kick in, exposure kick in, then you will see that your leadership base will continue to improve and you will be a leader for a long time.
I'd like to tackle the, how does a leader fix mistakes? So much of what a leader does is problem solving or troubleshooting. For 27 years, I ran my office in the region of my firm with over 100 lawyers. And there were many more paralegals and secretaries and staff. And I built my firm from about 300 lawyers to about 1,000 to where we're at now. So on a daily basis, I dealt with, it seemed like, nothing but problems. So a leader learns how to problem solve. And it's a critical part of a leader's toolkit is to be able to understand the problems and not to blame people for their problems. Problems are going to happen. I never blame my lawyers for a mistake. The only thing I did when they wouldn't tell me that they made a mistake, and I would find out about it after the fact from some other situation, which was much worse than them coming to me and tell me, simply, I made a mistake, Stratton. How do I deal with this? And I would help them through any crisis or any problem, any mistake that they made. But what was unforgivable is that they did not disclose it to me in advance. So problems are going to happen. As a leader, it's how you deal with the situation. You do not want to destroy confidence. You want to make it a learning opportunity so that you work with the individual who has made a mistake to correct it. But you correct it together. You don't let them do it on their own because they may not be objective on how to go about it. And they may make the mistake worse by trying to handle it themselves. So this is a great situation for a leader to really enhance the leadership reputation by leading somebody by the hand who's made a mistake, walk them through it and say, we're going to get through this, and here's how we're going to do it. And then that builds confidence, and that builds your reputation as a leader and helps you with the other people too. And they will come to you and try to get help in seeking the solution to the problem. Because what I learned very early on as a young lawyer, my mentor told me there are no mistakes that you can make in law that can't be overcome. And that was one of the things I learned in my first few weeks as a practicing young lawyer. And that really helped me get through the last 40 years. And it's so true. Mistakes are rarely, if ever, fatal.
Yeah, you survive those. And Warren Buffett he has a lot of great quotes. And I borrow some of my leadership philosophies from other people that have a sound foundation. He said he looks for three things when he hires people. Three, very important. Number one was integrity. And to your point, Stratton, I want to encourage these young people to start developing. Remember, I said leadership is behavior, acts of behavior. So I'm going to encourage you all to start developing that integrity now and follow through with it. Number two was intelligence, although he meant the zest and the desire to learn more. And number three was energy. He wanted people working with him that had strong, good energy, a good energy level. And the one that he could not do without was integrity. That was a kill, was integrity. So that's so important as you develop into a leader, because everything trust, we hear trust a lot. Trust is based on character, competence, and consistency. And once you compromise your integrity, then your competence and your character are both in question, and you can never build trust with people you're working around.
So we got a few minutes left. This is going so fast, and I just put a link in the chat to our young people. The All Stars Project wants to keep working with all of you and supporting you to keep growing as leaders and to meet more leaders like Stratton and Sidney. So please join our programs, because you'll meet more leaders like them. We support you through your internships as well. But before we go, because we got like 2 minutes, right? So this is for Sidney. We had a few questions about time, how long does it take to become a leader, and how you start making connections. But I want to roll that into, you played in the NBA. You played with some of the greatest leaders. You played against Jordan. You played against Magic. Like, really, you was some of the great leaders that we talk about. You were up there and you were in the Basketball Hall of Fame. So can you give us a leadership story from the NBA of what you learned, in that journey as well?
Yeah, I think basketball is so different. Professional sports, it's not really, it doesn't mirror the real world in so many different ways, but the principles do. And Magic, you look at a player like Magic or LeBron. To me, I love Michael Jordan. I'm a Michael Jordan fan. But the ultimate leader that I've seen in all my years was when I was coaching. I would watch LeBron James play, because LeBron would, number one, encourage his players all the time. Number two, LeBron builds a relationship with all of his teammates. And number three, LeBron he knew the scouting report. His knowledge base was so deep. We would call a set a play, and he would be telling his teammates where to go before we knew what we were calling. That's how much he was into the game. So his knowledge base was top flight. His relationship building, authentic relationships, were way, way up there. And then his ability to build them up, like Stratton said, to give them confidence, was way up there. So I'm not saying he's the greatest player of all times, in my opinion, but he is certainly one of the greatest leaders I've ever seen in the history of professional basketball.
Great. Like you said, we need a whole nother hour. Let's give them a virtual round of applause, everybody. Thank you so much, Sidney. Thank you so much, Stratton. Again, I put some links in the chat. You see the slide up here. This is to our youth program. You can also go to our booth and learn more about the All Stars. We're going to do a full session with Sidney and Stratton in the future. So please join us and stay tuned. You got a lot of thank yous coming in the chat from our young people. And again, congratulations to all of you for taking this leadership journey. on your internship journey. We want to be there to support you for this summer. Thank you. Congratulations. And who do I turn it over to?
Hey, Antoine, could you put our SidneyMoncrief.com if they want to go to the website, look at what we do, they can go to SidneyMoncrief.com.
I will do that right now.
Thank you.
Yeah, put StrattonHorres.com too, Antoine, if you don't mind, for my website.
Okay, there you go. SidneyMoncrief.com. Y'all heard that. And Stratton, I'm going to spell it in the chat, StrattonHorres.com.
And they can ask any questions if they had questions. We receive emails through those websites.
There it is. Perfect. Congratulations. Thank you. Do I turn it over to you, Kate? Or Tamiko? So I turn it to Tamiko.
Thank you.
Thank you, Antoine, Coach Moncrief, and Stratton Horres. We so appreciate your wisdom on leadership and grit and all of the great advice that you gave our students. I feel kind of odd following you guys because I don't have anything exciting as what you all had to share. But juniors, students, congratulations again on completing your task for the Internship Expo. We are super, super excited for each of you. I can't wait for you all to hear the great results. Now, of course, it is now time for our employers who have a difficult job of identifying the best candidates for their internship positions. The employers will be sending out the offer letters during the entire month of April. So what that means, students, that you need to make sure that you are checking your email on a daily basis, including your spam folder, just in case. And you want you to keep an eye out for those offer letters. And yes, I said letters, plural, because some of you may actually receive more than one offer. And that is really a really great thing and a really great, challenge to have. We want to make sure before you accept the offers that you review them very closely with your parents or guardians and make sure that you get their blessings. Make sure that you all agree with the dates and times of your internships and that you do not have any conflicts during the summer. Make sure that when you respond, that you respond by accepting or declining, but do so professionally, right? Is a great way to be able to, accept graciously, and there's a way to, decline graciously as well. But you must do so, whether you accept or decline, you must do so by the end of April as well. Now, the month of May is dedicated for you to complete all of your employment paperwork. Okay, once you receive the offer and you accept, then May will be part of that time. So your supervisor will be in touch with you. So you want to, again, make sure that you're checking that email, and they may actually invite you to some of the company meetings for business or social. So of course, being professional and courteous, always make sure to respond to those invitations as well. Now, you're almost there, but not quite. Before you actually start your internships in June, on June 2nd, there will be a pre-internship training for all students before they begin their internship. And it's just a one-day training, but it's really great information that each of you would need before you deploy into your internship areas. We want to make sure that during this time, you are able to meet your Dallas ISD summer internship coordinators who are CTE teachers, and they will be assigned to your organization, and they will be working with you throughout the summer to make sure that both you and your employer have a really great experience. Now, before we leave for today's conference, we want to make sure that each of you complete the survey. Charles Osterman has already entered the survey into the chat box, but for those of you who want to use your phones and use the QR code that's on the screen, make sure you take a picture of that, and then you can go ahead and complete the survey that way. Thank you all again. We hope that you all have enjoyed today's sessions, our speakers, the interviews hopefully weren't too nerve-wracking for you, the college fair, as well as our other workshop presenters. We wish you all so much success. Thank you all for being with us today, and we hope you all had a great time. Again, thank you, teachers, for your support as well.
Fantastic, everybody. Good job.
Thank you so much. Is it okay to put up the QR code one more time so we can
bet.
screenshot, make sure everyone has it? Thank you.
But
Trying to find out what the W's are that are showing up in the chat.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.